In this lesson, we will go through an exercise where we will work through the 4 steps for creating a new metric. So, open My Workbook by clicking the Acumen Fuse icon and selecting the file from recent workbooks. Select the S2 Diagnostics tab, then click Fuse. Make sure that the ribbons view is schedule quality. Then click on the Metrics tab to open the Metrics workspace. We have decided to create a new metric called average cost. For this exercise, we will create and name a new metric group for the new metric. So in the top menu, select New Group from the Metrics Group buttons. You will see that Metric Group 5 has now been created. In the Name field of the right pane, rename it to My Folder. Don't worry about the description and remarks fields, although it is usually important to complete these fields. You'll note that the new metric group has been renamed to My Folder. Next, we're going to create a new metric in our metric group. So highlight My Folder. Then in the top menu, click the button for New Metric. In the main window, rename this new metric to Average Cost. Type in the following description: average cost of activities that finish in this period. For the remarks, type includes activities with a status equal to planned, in progress and completed. Includes activity types equal to normal and milestone activities that finish in this period. Leave the metric type as activity count and make sure that you check the boxes for ribbons, phases and intersections. Now let's go ahead and create our metric primary formula. So make sure that the tab for primary formula is selected. Firstly, we'll select our inclusions. So for activity status, select planned, in progress and complete. Then for activity type, deselect the checkboxes for summary and level of effort. So we have selected normal and milestone activities. For time phase, select finish, then leave prorating turned on. We don't need to define any filters, so just ignore filters. Now we need to decide whether our metric is going to be an advanced or basic metric. So, therefore we need to decide if our primary formula contains inclusions, filters, and Excel array syntax. Now because we're going to calculate the average cost, we will need to use Excel syntax. Therefore, we will be defining an advanced metric. So click the Advanced Radio button to activate the formula pane. Click your mouse in the formula pane so that you have a blinking cursor. Then from the Common pull-down in the top menu, select the option for Average. You'll see the syntax in the formula pane with the blinking cursor. Now click the button for Insert Fields. From the available fields, select Total Cost and click the button for Insert. For the formula format, select Currency, No Decimals. Now you'll see the primary formula. Click the button for Check Formula to confirm that the syntax is correct. Next, select the S2 Diagnostics tab. Click on the Metrics tab on the left and right-click on the metric for average cost in My Folder. Then select Add to All Analyzers and click Fuse to view the results. So what is the average cost of activities in the current schedule? The answer: $3,914,672. What is the average cost for activities in 2012? The answer: $2,776,019. Now ribbonize the current schedule by CAM or CAM. So double-click on the current schedule to isolate it. Then in the Fields pull-down, choose Selected Field, General, CAM, and click the Fields button. Then click Fuse to view the results. So what is the average cost for Jim Smith? The answer, $6 million. Click the Home icon to reset the cams to all projects. Then click the Projects button to reset the ribbons. Let's move on to our secondary formula definition. So click on the Metrics tab, then in the Metrics pane, select the metric for average cost in My folder. Then click the tab for secondary formula and make sure to check the option in the tab to turn it on. As we know, secondary formulas are created in a similar way to primary formulas. Now we want to copy the inclusions from the primary formula. So click Copy from Primary Formula and note the changes, if any. Next, we are going to ignore the Filters pane. We have decided that we want our secondary formula to be based on the primary formula and will be displayed as a percentage of the workbook remaining costs. It is also going to include Excel syntax, so it will be advanced. So make sure that you select the Advanced Radio button to enable the formula field. Now click the tab for the primary formula. Highlight the formula, then right-click and select Copy. Then click the tab for secondary formula. In the secondary formula field, right-click and select Paste. This means that our secondary formula is now exactly the same as our primary formula. Now we're going to add to the formula. So on the right of the formula syntax, enter a divide symbol or /. Then click the button for Insert Fields. This time scroll down the list until you reach Workbook.Remaining Cost. Highlight the Workbook.Remaining Cost and click the button for Insert. So our new secondary formula is now average (total cost) divided by workbook remaining cost. In the formula format field, we will have % no decimals. Click the Check Formula button to confirm that the syntax is correct. Now click the S2 Diagnostics tab and click Fuse to view our results. There you will see our secondary formula displayed in all the analyzers as % values. Now isolate the current schedule, then click the Fields button to ribbonize by cam. Then click Fuse to view the results. So what is the percentage average cost per total remaining costs for Jim Smith? The answer, 3%. Now let's define our advanced metric tripwire formula. So click on the Metrics tab, then in the Metrics pane, select the metric for average cost in My folder. Now click the tab for tripwire formula and make sure that it is switched on by checking the option. Now we want to copy the inclusions from the primary formula, so click Copy from Primary Formula and note the changes, if any. Next, we will ignore the Filters pane. In the Formula pane, you'll note that the radio button for Auto Calculated by Primary Formula is unavailable. The Advanced option is automatically selected because the primary formula is in the Advanced mode. Now click the Formula pane and confirm that your cursor is flashing. We want to set a tripwire threshold where the total cost is greater than the average cost. Type the following formula: and total cost is greater than average, total cost, close bracket. Make sure that your brackets are correct. Click the button for Check Formula to confirm that the syntax is correct. Note that you could have constructed this formula syntax from the function libraries and insert fields. Now click S2 Diagnostics and click Fuse to view our results. Click on any of the analyzer fields for average cost and confirm that the selected activities are visible in the activity browser. So select the average cost cell for Jim Smith. How many activities are displayed in the activity browser? The answer? The activity browser should show 2 activities, 0260 EPC Design and 0280 Platform Feed. Now we need to define our tripwire thresholds and colors. We're going to set the number of threshold levels, names, colors, values, and descriptions. So click on the Metrics tab, then highlight the metric for average cost in my folder. Next, in the Editor pane, select the tab for tripwire thresholds. It should currently be blank. From the Color Scales pull-down, select Lowest is Better, then choose 4 intervals. You'll see that the levels are automatically populated with descriptions, colors, and values. Now go back to the S2 Diagnostics tab and click Fuse. You'll see that the average cost cells are now colored. So what color is the average cost cell for Jim Smith? The answer? Green. Click the Acumen Fuse icon, click Close, then save the workbook and metrics that you have just created. In the next lesson, we will learn about metric variables, metric scoring, and metric templates. In this lesson, we will learn how to understand and apply metric variables, metric scoring, and metric templates. Let's open the Samples workbook by clicking the Acumen Fuse icon and selecting Recent Workbooks. Select the S2 Diagnostics tab, then click Fuse. Make sure that the My Ribbons view is selected in the Ribbons view. So what are metric variables? Metric variables allow metrics to be defined against fields or values, before we have determined what their values actually are. There are 2 types of variables within Acumen Fuse. They are field variables and value variables. Firstly, field variables. Here, our criteria are based on a user-defined or code field that is not known at the time of creating the metric. So when a Fuse analysis is run, the user will be prompted to assign the actual field to be used in the analysis. Then we have value variables. At the time of creating a metric which is based on a defined value, we may not know what value should be assigned. So when a Fuse analysis is run, the user will be prompted to assign a value for this variable that will be used in the analysis calculations. Now once we have defined a field or value metric variable, it can be used like any other field or value with a filter or metric definition. A value for the variable can be assigned when the variable definition is first developed, or it can be assigned when a Fuse analysis is run. So to assign a variable, click on the small arrow in the bottom right of the Analyze group in the top menu. A dialog box for the variable definition will open, with Workbook and Project Variable tabs. Make sure that you select the Workbook tab. You'll see all of the variables that are currently already defined. If we define our own variable, it will appear in this list. Just close this dialog box. Let's work through some examples. Firstly, we will run through field variables. So click the Metrics tab, then at the bottom of the left-hand pane, select Variables. The Variables pane will be displayed with a list of the currently available variable definitions. In the Variables group in the top menu, click the button for New Field Variable. In the main window, change the name to Client. Now we want to create a new metric definition called Client Actions. So click the Metrics button and highlight the metric group called My Group. From the top menu, click on the button for New Metric, then rename this new metric to Client Actions. In the Remarks field, type in the following. Shows the number of actions that match the client when a field is entered during the analysis. In the Inclusions section, deselect the options for Summary and Level of Effort. Set the time phase to All and leave prorating on. Next, we're going to define a filter. Click the Add button in the Filters pane. In the first Filters pull-down list, select the field for Client. select equals for the operator. Then, for the field on the right, select client from the pull-down list. So we have a filter's definition of client equals client field variable. So the client actions metric will show how many activities match the client when a field is entered during the analysis. Let's choose contractor for our field entry. Now, click the S2 Diagnostics tab. Then click the Metrics tab on the left. From My Group, right-click on the metric for Client Actions and click Add to Ribbon Analyzer. Then click Fuse. The variable dialog will open, so scroll down to the bottom and you will see our field variable called Client. So click the drop-down, choose Contractor, then click OK. In the Ribbon Analyzer, you will see the results of the analysis under Client Actions, where the field is Contractor. Now we will look at value variables. Click the Metrics tab, then at the bottom of the left-hand pane, select Variables. The Variables pane will be displayed with a list of the currently available variable definitions. In the Variables group, in the top menu, click the button for New Variable. In the main window, change the name to Trial Cost. Leave the value field blank. Now we want to create a new metric definition called HCV, or High Cost Value. So click the Metrics button and highlight the metric group called My Group. From the top menu, click on the button for New Metric, then rename this new metric to HCV. In the Remarks field, type in the following. Shows the number of actions where the total cost is higher than the value that is entered during the analysis. In the Inclusion section, deselect the options for Summary and Level of Effort. Set the time phase to All and leave prorating on. Next, we're going to define a filter. Click the Add button in the Filters pane. In the first Filters pull-down list, select the field for total cost. Select greater than for the operator. Then for the value on the right, select trial cost from the pull-down list. So we have a filter's definition of total cost is greater than trial cost value variable. So the HCV metric will display how many activities are higher than the total cost when a value is entered during the analysis. Let's choose 300,000 for our value entry. Now click the S2 Diagnostics tab. Then click the Metrics tab on the left. From My Group, right-click on the metric for HCV and click Add to Ribbon Analyzer. Then click Fuse. The variable dialog will open. So scroll down to the bottom and you will see our field variable called Trial Cost. Enter 300,000 into the value field. In the Ribbon Analyzer, you will see the results of the analysis under HCV where the value is greater than 300,000. Click Save to save the workbook and metrics that you have just created. Now let's move on to metric weighting. So, what are metric weightings? Weightings indicate how one metric counts towards the overall score for a group of metrics. Weightings allow us to calculate an overall score when comparing one metric with another. For example, in a schedule, you would expect a high number of finish-to-start relationships. Therefore, the result would be positive. Conversely, if you looked at the number of leads in a schedule, you would expect a low number of leads. This is also positive. Therefore, in a metric group, you can set up the metric weighting using sliders to show which metrics have a positive or negative impact, or good versus bad. Neutral activities such as critical are not included in the metric score. They are either true or false. Now, there are two types of metric scoring: record-based scoring and metric-based scoring. Record-based scoring calculates the score on a per-record basis, and the final score is an average of the per-record scores. This places a premium on absolute compliance with the assigned metrics. So if one metric fails, the record will fail. Scores tend to be lower than metric-based scoring. With metric-based scoring, Acumen calculates the score using an average of the metric scores. Metric-based scoring allows incremental improvements to tasks to be reflected in the overall score. The metric-based method typically produces higher scores because a single task needs to fail in multiple areas simultaneously in order to receive a low score. Next, we will discuss metric templates. Now, when you create a set of metrics, they will be saved in the workbook in which they were created. However, we can also create a custom set of metrics that can be saved across an enterprise. To do this, we would first save our metric as a Fuse metric library template. Once our metric template is created, we can assign it as a default for our workbooks. Note that once you have changed the default metric library, the metrics will only apply to new workbooks. If new metrics are needed for an existing workbook, they can be copied and pasted into the Metrics tab for the existing workbook, then saved with the workbook. Now let's look at an example. Firstly, in the S2 Diagnostics tab, click the Metrics tab on the left. You will see all of our metrics associated with the open workbook. Then click the Acumen Fuse icon and select Save As. A dialog window will open where you can choose to save as a Deltek Acumen workbook or metric library template. Select the option for metric library template. A browser window will open. Here you can give your new metric template a name. Then choose a folder location and click Save. I'm just going to cancel because I'm not going to create a template. Select the Acumen icon again, and this time select Deltek Acumen Options from the pop-up. On the left side of the pop-up window, select the option for General. Then, in the right-hand pane under Libraries Analytics, deselect the option for Use Built-in Metric Library. Then click the button on the right of the field for Default Metric Library Location. Navigate to the location of your new template. Choose the folder for templates, then double-click to open it. You will see the currently available templates. For the purposes of this example, select the template for dcma.aft. Click Open, and you will see it displayed as the default metric library location. We're not going to be using this template at the moment, so just click Cancel. Don't save your workbook, so simply close it and click No. We have now completed Acumen Fuse step by step. I hope you enjoyed the course and thank you for taking part. I would welcome comments about the course and will always continue to make improvements if necessary. You may wish to take part in my other courses for Acumen 360, Acumen Risk, Primavera Risk Analysis, and Primavera P6 Beginners and Intermediate. Thank you again.